Welcome to the deep dive. Today, the sources you've shared with us present just one of the most powerful juxtapositions I think we've ever seen.
It's a real study in extremes.
Absolutely. We're diving into texts that connect this moment of, well, extreme historical oppression, where
Yeah.
just following your faith could get you killed.
And we're connecting that to an intimate, almost instantaneous miracle.
A miracle of sight.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to extract the essential knowledge from these readings. We've got 1 Maccabees, Psalm 119, and then Luke 18.
And what's the thread we're pulling on?
We're looking at the tension and what it means to be faithful. What was the cost of that fidelity during persecution? And then what's the reward of just bold personal faith?
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start in a world where history and politics just collided, violently, with religious identity.
We're in the era of the Greek kingdom,
Yeah.
and our antagonist steps right onto the stage.
Right. The source introduces Antiochus Epiphanes, and it describes him as a sinful offshoot.
Yeah, they don't pull any punches. But what's fascinating here, and I think really key, is that the oppression wasn't just external. It wasn't just this king attacking them.
So it was coming from the inside, too.
That's it. The source mentions wicked people among the Israelites who were actively pushing for compromise. They were saying, let's make a covenant with the nations.
Why? Why would they do that?
Well, they believed that separating themselves, being different, was actually the cause of all their suffering. They wanted to modernize, essentially, to just fit in.
And that internal division, that willingness to compromise, must have given the king the perfect opening.
The perfect opening. And the sources detail these really specific steps of cultural assimilation that followed.
First up was building a gymnasium in Jerusalem.
Which was a huge deal. It was a symbol of Greek pagan life, right there in their holy city.
And then it got even more personal, more extreme. The sources mention men physically reversing their circumcision.
Can you imagine? Physically trying to erase your own heritage, your own identity. The text says they sold themselves to do evil. It's a shocking level of self-erasure just to avoid persecution.
That desperation makes the king's next move seem almost inevitable.
Right. His big decree. Everyone must become one people. Abandon your own laws, your own customs.
And a lot of people went along with it.
The majority did. The source says many Israelites started adopting pagan worship, sacrificing to idols. They even got rid of the Sabbath.
And it all culminates in this one final act of desecration.
The symbolic climax. In 145th year, the king orders the construction of the abomination of desolation, and they place it directly on the sacred altar for burnt offering.
Oh, absolutely. The total desecration. And the enforcement of all this was, utterly brutal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The regime hunted down the foundational texts, they tore up the books of the law and just threw them in the fire.
And the decree was simple. If we find you with a scroll of the law, if you're caught adhering to the covenant, you're killed.
The text calls it a frightful wrath over Israel. But, and this is the critical point, this is what sets up the defining moment of fidelity.
So not everyone gave in.
Not everyone. The sources make a point to emphasize the resilience of the few. Many people chose to be courageous. They refused to eat unclean food. They refused to violate the Holy Covenant.
And they chose to die instead.
They chose death over dishonoring their faith.
That level of commitment, dying just for reading a book or for what you eat, it's almost unimaginable. But how do you maintain that spiritual sanity when you're surrounded by death and your holy books are being burned?
Well, that's the perfect intellectual bridge to our next source.
That's 119.
Exactly. It's like a poetic spiritual blueprint for defiance. It's the internal answer to that external persecution. The whole spirit is right there in the refrain. Revive me, O Lord, and I will keep your commands.
So it's a prayer for life, but for a specific purpose.
Yes. Give me life so that I can continue to follow the law. It's not just about survival. It's about survival for the sake of fidelity.
But hold on, are we comparing apples and oranges here? Maccabees is a historical account of mass execution. A psalm is poetry. Does the psalmist really understand that kind of danger?
Oh, I think so. It's not naive poetry. The psalmist is fully aware of the danger. There's a line, ropes of sinners entangled me.
Entangled me. So they know they're trapped.
They know they're trapped.
Yeah.
But the very next line is, I will not forget your law. The message is that the law is their anchor, their psychological, their spiritual life source.
And it anchors them against that internal pressure we talked about, the people who compromised.
Yes. The psalmist says it explicitly. I saw the apostates and they disgusted me because they did not keep your words. So it's a stand against the external and the internal threat.
So in this world, in this framework, salvation comes from holding on to the code, even if it means dying for it.
Exactly. Strict adherence to the law is the only true safety.
Okay, here's where the narrative just takes a complete turn. We've been talking on this macro level, right? Empires, laws, collective resistance.
And now we're going to zoom all the way down to the micro crisis of one single marginalized person.
We jump forward to the New Testament. No more kings, no more decrees. We're on the side of a road near Jericho.
And we shift the very object of that fidelity. It's not the written law anymore that's the source of defense. It's faith.
And we meet a blind beggar. Someone completely on the margins, someone who literally cannot see the way forward.
And the interaction is just electric. He hears the crowd, and he doesn't just ask for money.
Yo, he shouts this prophetic title, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me.
And what does the crowd do?
They try to shut him up. They try to silence him.
Just like the compromisers in the time of Antiochus. It's that same societal pressure to just be quiet, don't disrupt things.
But he does the exact opposite. He shouts even louder. That defiance, that noise, that's the thread connecting these two eras, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And Jesus stops. He brings the man forward and asks this critical question about personal choice.
What do you want me to do for you? Which is a fascinating question because it's obvious what he wants.
Of course it's obvious.
Yeah.
But Jesus forces the agency back onto him. He makes him state it. And the man's answer is so direct. Lord, that I may see.
And the result, this is the profound shift. Jesus links the healing directly to the man's own action.
See, your faith has saved you. Not your adherence to a code, not your political resistance.
Your faith, your personal, loud, insistent faith.
And the transformation is immediate. He saw right then and followed Jesus.
And it doesn't just end with him. The source says the whole community, the entire crowd that witnessed it, praise God.
So his individual sight leads to collective praise.
Yeah.
It's an incredible synthesis.
So if we put it all together, what does this knowledge grant us? We've traced this line from a huge historical crisis where fidelity meant dying for the written code,
To this incredibly personal moment where bold, vocal faith leads to immediate transformative healing. It leads to sight.
So what's the constant? What's the common thread through it all?
I think it's the intense commitment required from the individual. That's the constant, whether you're resisting a tyrant who wants to erase your identity.
Or just resisting a dismissive crowd that wants you to be silent.
That individual choice to stand firm, to shout louder, is the key to accessing salvation. A salvation that manifests as physical sight, as spiritual insight, and ultimately as a path toward life, not just a willingness to die.
So a final thought for you to explore. In a world just full of information overload, where crowds on all sides are constantly trying to tell us what to see or, how to be silent, what is your equivalent of shouting louder? And what specific vision are you hoping your faith or your commitment will grant you right now? Thanks for diving deep with us.